What is up, everybody? Welcome back to the Devy Royale YouTube channel. As always, I am your host, Kevin Coleman, at DuBois_22. And in this episode of the freshman focus that we're bringing on is we are looking at Ole Miss running back Quinshon Judkins. Judkins has been an absolute force this year. And in this series, we like to look at the top freshman players and just in general. Like we covered Jaden Ott last week, or this last week. We're looking at guys that you should care about for Devy, for C2C, for college football, anything. If you're just a fan, hell, you might be a fan of Ole Miss running backs and you're just looking at what he's doing. Quinshon has been absolute revelation this year. I mean, he has looked great. Right now, he is currently tied, he has the second most rushing yards in the SEC, and he's tied for the first in touchdowns. He has looked really good, playing behind probably the running back 2 of the 23 class, and Zach Evans, transferred from TCU. And Judkins has not missed a beat, and he showed what he can do when he gets full volume, and that's what he got last game. So the reason why we're kind of highlighting him, you can see his season total right here, but against Tulsa, in a game that Evans went kind of down, got a little banged up, he had 27 attempts, 140 yards, and 2 touchdowns. He was the reason why they were able to pull this game out. You can see the rest of his games, what he has kind of accumulated: 429 yards, 5 touchdowns off of 70 attempts already. And they've looked like, hey, ready to go. And you'll see 5'11", 210. He's listed at 210 to 220. It kind of depends on where you look, but he's got that big frame and that big size already. He has been one of their best players. And for a guy that was kind of underrated, he was a 3-star prospect by most recruiting scouts coming in. He's number 18 overall out of Alabama, number 28 running back in the nation by Rivals. But he rushed for over 4,000 yards in a high school career. I mean, last year as a senior, he had 1,500 yards rushing. He also had 67 career touchdowns. He had 26 as a senior. This kid could play. I mean, he had offers from a lot of different schools: Notre Dame, Arkansas, Auburn, Florida, Miami, Michigan. Wish he would have went to Michigan. He had all these different offers here, but Judkins picked Ole Miss, and for good reason. You see him getting that volume already, and Lane Kiffin is an underrated running back coach. You saw what he did with Devin Singletary, all of these guys at different places at Florida Atlantic. Now we're seeing what he's doing with Evans and these other guys that have done very well under him. These are the type of things you like to see. And I think he has really, really kind of stepped up in that next echelon of kind of running backs of the 25 class. So we're talking about freshmen now. We're talking about guys in that class. We have to start getting ready for these guys. Now we're talking about strengths here. Size is number 1. The kid's a big kid, 5'11", 210, 215, wherever he's at. And you could tell he has the size and speed that you can kind of do damage on both sides. So you're looking at, hey, does he have the size to kind of get an SEC schedule? I think he does. Then does he have the speed to take it out of there, even though he has that size? Yes, he does. He has that breakaway speed on the outside. He has got the size to really, really combat that. He's a very patient runner. So when you watch him, I think probably the most thing that stood out to me about tape, because I love my tape, don't tell the analytics guys, is just his ability to read blocks already as a freshman, and then be able to seize those those moments when that hole opens up and he just burns right through. He's a very, very patient runner, and already he's shown maturity as a runner that you would notice usually an upperclassman, but he's already got that. Like, he came into Ole Miss ready to go, and that's something that from a true freshman perspective, we don't see a lot. So patient runner, speed, and size. I mean, those are the big ones. When it was just highlighted, it just popped off. Now, as far as weaknesses go, receiving, pass blocking. He didn't really have much of a receiving career when you looked at he had 470 career receiving yards in high school. So he's a high volume rusher, not necessarily a receiver yet. And pass blocking will always come. These guys are always not very good at pass blocking when they first come in the game. But receiving, I think the biggest thing is when we're looking at this from a fantasy perspective, can he get that receiving up? I think he can. I think he could be like Evans when you're looking at Zach Evans. Zach Evans is a better pure receiver, but maybe he gets more involved in that offense. I think that's what you're looking for when you're looking at a guy like Judkins. But you got to love what he was able to do. And he was on full display against Tulsa. Now, we're going to take a little look at the film and just kind of go over some things we saw. So against Tulsa here, you'll see he's a big inside runner. So one thing about Judkins that you can look at here is I think he has that ability to kind of break inside. See the patience is. Look at that lateral agility. This is a grown-ass move, NFL move. Like, I don't care what anybody says here. When we're watching the tape and we can see it. So you'll see his patience. You're going to see when he comes in here. He gets stuck behind alignment, able to make that first guy miss. Boom. And then he has the speed to get to the outside. That was a great block by the wide receiver. But you'll notice that. Like, he has that speed. He has that vision. Gets through the line of scrimmage and gone. Big ass hole. Able to manipulate. You'll see these stiff arms. You're going to see these areas that he can get into. He does that very well. And he's going to shove that defender down. He does not care about your feelings on this tape. You'll see it. Breaks through the hole. Sees his defender. See ya. Like, this is the strength we're talking about. And then when he absorbs that contact, after he absorbs that contact, he goes. You'll see that. Okay. He absorbs the contact, then he's able to kind of get that speed and go again to the outside, lateral agility. he has that extra level, right? He fills the burner. Now, you'll see in the next game, again, being able to throw the guy down the ground, able to extend the play, even through tackles, even through that. And you'll notice, this is where I like to highlight it. So you saw him against Tulsa. He was a grown man running through it then. Okay. Then in another game, you'll see it here. Able to bounce the outside, has to stiff arm. Still able to break it, then gets hit, then you're draped all over him, still able to get a 15-yard rush. Those are the type of things that you like to see from a freshman guy, from a freshman running back. You like to see that maturity of everything. Now, again, reads it here, make a guy miss, has very good at open field agility. I could have put that as one of his strengths. He can make guys miss. He's not just a straight line guy. I think that he has that ability to get the open field agility, make guys miss, but he's just got that strength. Again, another grown-ass man run. These are the things that you see when you're watching guys run sometimes. To just pop off the tape. You're just like, hey, this guy's a grown man. And I think he's going to be able to do this in the SEC. And I think that's the exciting thing. When he starts doing it against bigger teams and better teams, then we're going to be talking about a legitimate prospect. Again, 3 tackles he just breaks right there. Then has the speed and the burners to kind of get through and still get up until the 12-yard line. Those are the runs when you watching his tape that just pop off. Like, oh my God, look at that guy. He's able to get to the line, get to that next level. Those are the stuff that like makes you really, really fall in love with him as a prospect. Now let's talk about his outlook right now. Looking at rankings throughout the board, it really just depends on who you listen to. I have Quinshon in my top 6 right now. So just understanding kind of where he's at. If he keeps going like this, he's leading the NCAA in total yards for a freshman. So he already has that on his books. Him and Jay Knott are going at it right now. But Judkins can really, truly play. Like when you're looking at him, 429 yards rushing, I think Jay Knott might have eclipsed him. That's why I said maybe. I think they're really going back and forth. But if Evans is out for a long time, I think Judkins, or not a long time, a couple games, Judkins is going to be able to step in there and be ready to go. If not, him and Evans still serve as a very good 1-2 punch. Even when Evans was healthy, he's had 19 attempts, 20, and then 10 and 14. And I think Lane's going to use both of these guys to spell each other. And if Ole Miss has any shot of trying to make it to the SEC championship game or make some noise in the SEC, more than what they made last year, they're going to have to lean on this rushing attack. And Judkins gives them that. So I just wanted to give him a little shout out, little freshman focus on there. Again, if you like the channel, please hit that like or subscribe button. We appreciate you as always, everybody that tunes in. Please check out our Patreon. As always, $3 a month. That's all it is for all kinds of different content. You could check out. We have 3 different tiers, 3 different areas of Discord. You can talk about all of that. We appreciate you guys doing that. And then I'm going to hit you guys with the Prize Picks video to get out of here. If you like Prize Picks, if you like a little bit of gambling, and you like a little fun, Prize Picks is offering up to 100% match, obviously up to $100, 100% match up to $100 with your first deposit. All you got to use is promo code the Devy Royale. And you get to have some fun and do a little Prize Picks. And you're out here in California, we don't get to do all that stuff, but we do with Prize Picks. So please, if you're on the West Coast and your state doesn't have it, Prize Picks is probably offered there. So take a look, see it. And if you want to get involved, the Devy Royale, you can always DM me for, hey, what is your favorite bet? So I appreciate you guys tuning in. I'll check you guys next time.